Ain't it marvellous?
Well, dears, a couple of 3 months ago, I found myself in a whole different world. And that world was Haverhill, in America. Now, the big old new Haverhill in America is located in the state of Massachusetts. Yep, thank you, Phyllis. And I was invited to go and speak on the wireless over there and talk all about the old Haverhill here in Suffolk.
Mavis is a rather attractive fox.
Well, I dare say I am, yes, right.
The reason she's here is that David Goudswood is working on a review of the other Haverhills other than Haverhill, Massachusetts.
That's right. Well, I didn't know there was more than one, because I come from the one back in England. And someone told me there was one in how do you say it? Massachusetts. So I said, well, I don't really like to go very far in the world, but if there was anywhere I'd like to go, that'd be Haverhill, Massachusetts. So that'd be almost the same, but a little bit different. And I've got to say that's a lot bigger than Haverhill in Suffolk, back where I'm from. There's all sorts of places like taco places and donuts, and I never have any of them. I would like to try some of that stuff. Yeah.
Well, actually, we have a maybe unfortunate reputation for having a donut shop on almost every corner of every block.
Wow. A block. And you know what? The biggest thing about Haverhill, Massachusetts, is that's got a rail station. Now, I'm ever so jealous because there used to be a train station in Haverhill, Suffolk, and then they took it all away.
They took it away? Why is that?
You could see my YouTube video all about the lost railway of Haverhill, and they took it away in the 1950s because they thought that we didn't need them no more.
Wow, so Mavis,
Yeah.
your accent is somewhat different.
Well, I have a West Suffolk accent, but not many people have this no more. It's a dying dialect. And the true Suffolk people, silly old buggers like me, yeah.
Now, how big is Haverhill, Suffolk?
Well, I believe that's got a population of about 21,000. So that's probably, I dare say that's smaller than Haverhill, Massachusetts. Is that right?
That's true. So it's
Yeah.
amazing the descendants have grown.
That's right, yeah. They spread out, and that Nathaniel Ward fella, he come from Haverhill, Suffolk, and his brother, I believe that's his brother, Samuel Ward, he have a school, there's a school called Samuel Ward in Haverhill, Suffolk. And you have a Ward something, a Ward Hill, that's named after Nathaniel Ward. So there was brothers from each of the Haverhills.
So the descendants who created Haverhill, Massachusetts, and some others, is there any ill will toward those people who left the home country?
Well, I think that's ever so lovely to go and make a whole new Haverhill and make it another one all big and beautiful. A bit far away though, if we want companies.
So, and Phyllis is afflicted with the Haverhill Suffolk accent. Is that?
I
what it
believe
is?
that's a Haverhill Suffolk. Yeah, she's a bit something else as well. I don't know what that is. I don't even think she knows.
Tell us about your career. I understand you've been on the BBC. We
That's right.
saw you in a YouTube video, but unfortunately, I'm not overly familiar with all of your history and your
Well,
appearances.
The BBC have different radio stations for each county. BBC Suffolk are the ones that I talk to because that's in Suffolk, and they're in the capital, which is Ipswich. And I believe there's an Ipswich round here. Is that right?
That's right. People from Ipswich and Newbury founded Haverhill, Massachusetts.
Newbury's somewhere other than Suffolk, we don't know. There's a Braintree and there's a Colchester and a Norwich, but they're not in Suffolk, but they're in East Anglia. And East Anglia is where Suffolk is.
Mavis, do you know much about the history of Haverhill, Suffolk?
Well, I know a little bit. I know there was a great fire of 1667, which is interesting because that was a year after the Great Fire of London. And all the houses that would have been all beautiful, like Lavenham, you should Google Lavenham if you get a chance. I did a video there as well. That looked like Harry Potter place. That's a beautiful place. Now all the houses would have looked like that if it weren't for the Great Fire of Haverhill.
We had a
It was,
great,
it was so sad.
we had a great fire too in 1882.
Wow, all the similarities, see?
When you arrived, you took the train. You took Amtrak to Haverhill.
I did. I couldn't believe there was a train to Haverhill.
Well, when you arrived, where you stepped off was about 51 buildings that were replaced the same year as the fire. While the bricks were still hot, they were replacing the buildings.
Wow, that's efficient, isn't it?
It was a Queen Anne Revival style construction,
swift
so it's one of our treasures.
That's right.
So you'll have
I hear that Haverhill, Massachusetts is famous for shoes.
That's right. It was the
Making
Queen
shoes.
Slipper City. So apparently,
The Queen? Wow.
got her shoes. Actually, David Godswood, open mic show historian, might know a little more about which queen. Was it Queen Victoria that got our shoes?
It's a designation that we were the Queen production, the center of production.
Oh, you so mean the Queen of England never actually wore Haverhill shoes?
Not that I'm aware of.
We just broke a myth then.
Just tell him that she did. No one will know the difference.
So we appreciate your visiting the open mic show here at WHAV, obviously HAV for
Haverhill, yeah, that's right. I didn't even realise that. That was ever so nice to go on American Wireless. And that was so exciting that I even got to speak to young Matt Marvel at BBC Suffolk while I was there and tell him all
Unbelievable.
about
So
it.
Haverhill, yeah? Well, Haverhill, Massachusetts?
Yeah. Well, I have to say this, dear. I'm so shocked to hear that Haverhill in America is in the county of Essex.
No.
Now, I could not believe it. I dropped my glasses and I said, why ever is that in Essex? And they said that used to be in Suffolk, but then that expanded and that became into Essex.
No
I
way.
couldn't believe it. But I will tell you what, they don't know how to make a nice cup of tea over here.
That made my day seeing the American Haverhill. I shall never forget it. But that's a long way to go when I got a Haverhill right here. Yep.